morning, Morris. Hi. Hi. Hello. Stripey hasn't come out of the garage yet. I'm waiting for Don to pop the door, because I imagine he's still asleep in there. I haven't been out here early in 4 days. They're all like, what's going on, Mom? Yep, it's been 4 mornings since I've had to be up this early. I didn't see Stripey run up. He must be asleep and warm someplace and not the garage, although he was there at midnight. We got birds chirping. Good morning, Ruby. It's looking like it's gonna be a sunny day. It's right at 50 degrees out there. Traffic seems light this morning. Not sure what I could attribute that to, as I would have thought everybody would have been back to usual today. And maybe we've got a few people. Why did she change lanes there, Ruby? That was odd. She just decided she was gonna get over. But hey, I have autopilot. Model Y in traffic with us this morning. Wow, red this year instead of green. The tire tree. Yep, I am liking the sun this morning. Should be good for our walk for sure. It was the right thing to do to skip yesterday though. Too much stuff to do around the house and not enough time to get it done in. Johnny told me to pick him up at noon today. Of course, that's normal Monday pickup time. And I think tomorrow will for sure be noon also. They have some sort of a... It's not the ACT, but it's some other ACT related test thing in the morning. So, I don't know. Anyway, it's going to be variable this week. But I think today and tomorrow is noon. And, I had 2 other interesting autopilot things this morning. One has been happening regularly whenever I've been able to engage autopilot, and that's Ruby putting on the turn signal, but then turning the turn signal back off and not actually changing lanes. That happened one time on 401 this morning. It's not happening a lot, but it is happening a little. And I guess in that particular instance, it wasn't apparent to me why she wanted to change lanes in the first place. If the traffic wasn't slow, I didn't need to move over for a turn or a merge or anything like that. So I just don't know why she did that. And then obviously I don't know why she turned it back off after she decided to move. She had one move this morning that you guys saw on camera where she moved over, but I don't know why. There's still these occasional messages that pop up and says changing lane to follow route, but she didn't need to change lane to follow route, or getting out of rightmost lane, which was, you know, normally you would stay out of the leftmost lane, you'd stay out of the passing lane. So I don't know. I mean, that's not a big deal. I'm just telling you my experience this morning. And then I was in autopilot all the way through the construction zone because now it's, you know, just straight road and there's no curve and it's working consistently, properly there. And as I came through the light at 1010 and 401, that's where the Harris Teeter's on one side, the Food Lion, the Bojangles, and the Walgreens, that corner there. Ruby went to the right. That the lane got really wide, and she started going through the intersection. She started going to the right and come far enough that it was uncomfortable that I took her out of autopilot. I don't know why she did that. I mean, she's had a little bit of an issue, and I don't just mean Ruby, but the autopilot cars, Ruby and Jules, of when the lane gets, you know, wider than expected, going to the right, hugging the right, and that's not always what you want her to do. So I don't think I'd been through that intersection in a while on autopilot, because I was always coming out of autopilot for the construction zone, and then the speed slowed down to 45 and there was a stoplight, and normally I wouldn't have re-engaged autopilot till probably the other side of that intersection. So I'll have to see if that's a persistent problem now that I'm regularly going to be going through that intersection on autopilot. All right, here's approaching 1010. I'm in the lane I want to be in. And you can see Ruby started to dive to the right, and I grabbed control. So when she's getting back into the lane, that's me. That wasn't her. I really have to wonder, you know, what was she thinking there? Let's see if I can manage to back it up so we can see it one more time. Oh, that's coming past Wake Tech. I backed it up too far. Okay, here it is. Coming up to the stoplight at least. I guess we've got to stop at the stoplight. I don't think we're stopped for a very long time. I'm just going to let it roll, because if I try to slide it to the right again, then we'll lose it. I would like the view that I get on my MacBook if I take the card in, where I have 4 big pictures instead of the little tiny ones. I mean, I like this view also. I'm not saying instead of. I wish I had a button I could click and it would fill the screen with 4 large squares like I can see on the MacBook, because, you know, these squares is just really little for seeing any detail. But I thought we'd watch it. I guess, I don't know why you would ever go to the right in an intersection when the road goes straight. I don't know. This is the spot where sometimes she tries to get in the turn lane to get around slow moving traffic. And there's an arrow back here that's straight and a turn, and then there's an arrow right up here that's just a turn arrow. And if the slow up is far back near the one that's straight and a turn, she tries to take you over there. And I understand why she's doing that, even though obviously we wouldn't want her to do that. I'm just, you know, so she already sort of, this turn lane here is already a little confusing sometimes. Perfectly legal to get in that lane, just not perfectly a good idea to try to get back left to go through straight through the intersection without irritating other drivers getting stuck over there, you know. So looking to the right here, there was the arrow, that was the turn. There's another turn only and coming through the intersection. I would say it wasn't as obvious there, but probably what happens is let me try it. I do want to try to get back up there again. Yeah, I know. It's so hard to move it to where you can show what you want to show. That's back to Wake Tech. Yeah, I don't want to wait 5 minutes again for you to... Alright, so we're moving through. I'm going to try to stop it because I wanted to point something out. Right as we come through here, you can see that there's basically a whole extra lane there, but you're not supposed to be in it per the white stripes. Now, you can turn in here and just a little farther, there's another stripe, you know, to get into the, well, to get into the McDonald's Food Lion parking lot. Eventually it does become a turn lane and you can turn into the shopping center, but right on the other side of the intersection, it's not really the turn lane yet. And so maybe because all of that extra space is there, autopilot thought that's where the through lane went. I'm sure it's going to do it again, but I'll be watching. I am liking the sun this morning. I am. It feels good. It's nice out here. We're obviously out on our walk, getting her done. I looked up the test Johnny's taking tomorrow, and it is the ACT work keys. It's supposed to assess workforce readiness. You know, some students will go straight into the workforce versus college. It was going to test applied math, workplace graphics, and workplace documentation. So, do you understand memos versus emails versus work instructions? Can you look at a building diagram and figure out where stuff is in the building and how to get in and out of it and find the things you need? Calculators are great, but do you have some basic math skills to problem solve typical types of problems? All stuff an employer would want to know if you were worth hiring. So not aptitude, not an intelligence test, not how well did you do at Calc 1, but if I drop you off for a internship day, let's say at John Deere over in Fuquay, how well are you going to assimilate and be able to do what they ask you to do? So, sounds quite worthwhile, and I don't know for sure about Johnny, but it sounds like if they do well, they get a certificate, and this is something that you can choose to share with an employer. So it sounds like a good thing. I think Johnny will do well. I'm not worried about him on that test at all. The grass looks awesome. The trees that are golden here in the park look awesome. The sky is clear. The temperature is pleasant. I haven't seen Miss Rosa though. I did hear from her over Thanksgiving. She says she was a little under the weather, and you know, she's 85 and it was a little cool for her. I guess if we don't see her this week out here, when we go to walk this weekend at Yates Mill or the Greenway or something, maybe I should message her and see if she wants to meet up with us, because we tend to walk a little later when it's a little warmer. We just have to see what the weather's like. I think this is a pin oak. It's got leaves that look like fingers. I think that's what that is. I think. We have a lot of oak trees in North Carolina, and keeping up with all of the varieties is definitely, you know, in looking at the bark, you want to think oak tree. It's a great looking tree. Hi. I've got 30 minutes before I gotta go pick up Johnny. Bags 4 and 5 are the music store, Mr. Jolly's music store. And it looks bag 4 is the bottom, and then 5 is the top and the roof. So I am going to start on that. Hopefully I can do at least one bag, and maybe the whole building, but that's probably a little bit much in the time allotted. A lot of people converted these to modulars, but I decided not to do that, even though I love a good modular, because all of the buildings in the Christmas building, as designed by Lego, are open in the back and playable and allow you to see the detail of what's going on in the building. I'm showing you the official Lego ones. This is the oldest one in my set, this toy shop right here. And well, I already showed you the clubhouse. This is not official Lego, and this is a Harry Potter building, and it's not part of the Christmas collection, but because it has snow on the roof, a lot of people like to put it in their Christmas village. So anyway, I just felt like going through the effort to make it bigger would take up more space in the display, and then also it wouldn't be in style really with the buildings that are already here. So I mean, if I loved the building and I wanted to add it to my modulars, I would do that, but it's not that tall. It's just a 2 short story. So anyway, I'm not modifying it. I'm just building it. That was my point. Bag 4 is done. I'll do 5 when I get home. I'm really impressed with the details. This is the music store. You can see the guitar and the violin inside. It's got Christmas green on it. That looks pretty cool. There's a cash register, a trombone, some music, a drum set, more music stuff. So pretty cool. Well, we've got more lane closures on Main Street today. They're working on sidewalks again. It's cost me about 15 minutes coming through town. I guess if I'd have known, I would have done something different. But I didn't know. So, yeah, they keep on tearing up the corners and then redoing them, I think, to make it ADA compliant. And please understand that I am all for safe and compliant sidewalks. That sounds so stupid, but I mean, seriously, I get it. But blocking parts of Main Street here right at the holiday season during the middle of the day when these roads can't handle the traffic because of all of the growth the area's had, it's just not making my day. Do it at night. Don't do it during the holiday season when there's increased traffic. I don't know. Do it on the, I don't know. I don't have a good time. There's no good time to block one of these lanes. I thought we were well past, you know, peak leaf season and this stretch of the road had been pretty, but wow, it's just looking gorgeous out there today. I've got Johnny and we're on our way back to Fuquay, and I just wanted to comment that they are already tearing up the asphalt for the loop off to the right here at the Turnpike construction zone. You can see them over there. They've got dump trucks lined up this time to put the big chunks of asphalt into as they tear them up and scoop them up. So they didn't waste any time on getting rid of that over there. Well, I think Ruby's going to make it all the way across town this afternoon, and what I did different was I did not navigate to home. So I was just simply engaged autopilot on 401, and technically this over here is still 401. And she just stayed straight through town, didn't try to turn onto Judd Parkway or move me over lanes or, you know, any of that stuff. Although I will have to navigate to home here in a second if I want her to turn right onto Wagstaff after South Park. But I've been on autopilot at least since the John Deere on the other side of town. I had to take control. There were 2 Fuquay police officers right in the S-curve where the construction is and the cones are up at the road. Had pulled over a motorist and blocked her in. But they were sticking out into the other lane and there was a lot of other cars in the area, and I just took control. We don't mess with causing stress near our men in blue, so I don't know what that lady did, but I was telling Johnny the way they had her blocked in, it was something more than she was a few miles an hour over the speed limit. She might have been over the speed limit, and then when I called in her plate, something else was amiss. That would be my guess. H. Jolly's music store is complete. It's pretty cool. It's very small building, Harry Potter themed, if you ask me, which I like. My one and only comment would be it should have come with at least one more minifigure. Somebody needs to be up here eating, so I would definitely be adding one. I'm going to go ahead and finish out this set and do the toy shop, Santa's toy shop. It seems like this building is quite a bit bigger than the music store I just completed. It was more bags and more bowls required. I'm not sure why. They look to be similarly sized, but I guess we'll find out. You guys notice anything wrong? At least it won't be hard to fix at all. Okay, that's much better. Both fronts of the building are facing front now. I guess when you build modulars and you build them separate and then you set them on top of each other, it's just a whole different thing. I thought the bed with the little ruffled quilt was pretty ingenious. There's a palisade brick to do that. That's pretty cool. I like the little tree and the list. You know, I could put her inside, but I'm just basically figuring again is like I need 1 or 2 more minifigures, so I will be adding minifigures. Don's got his workbench ready for the next project.
Yeah,
it's back to project ready. I blew leaves so he could have time on his workbench.
Yeah, she did good. She really is a good helper. She's a really good person to keep on your team. She cleans up after my mess all the time.
Yeah, I vacuum out here. Metal shavings, wood shavings, you know, stuff that could get kitties in trouble or tracked in the car. That's my job to come behind.
She does a great job.
Aw.